calling her now to ask her questions.
Hi, Maria. Thanks for taking the
Hi.
time today.
Yeah, no problem.
How did you become involved with Lovin Scoopful Ice Cream?
Well, it was my brother talked to me about wanting to start a business that would, benefit Special Olympics, that would reach beyond the kind of more traditional Special Olympics community, and that would be a product that people would enjoy, that would bring families together, that would be about fun and play and eating, and that would have a good purpose. So I said, yeah, I'm in on that, and together with our two other partners, we've created this company. So I'm really proud of the way it tastes. I love the names. I've got my kids and his kids involved in picking the names and the packaging and how it tastes. And really, it's been a great experience, a really fun experience. And it's a company that I'm proud of because it not only tastes good, but that it does good too. And I think people, particularly women, and I know even myself, I buy things that I know will do good. I mean, if I can buy a salad dressing from Paul Newman that will benefit a hole-in-the-wall camper or a regular salad, I always go for the product that has a modal, a social conscience to it. So I hope that people will support Lovin', that they'll buy it as opposed to just buying ice cream that just fills you up. It's ice cream that's, good for you. Um, and that has, that not only tastes good, but that does good as well.
Absolutely. And I love how Lovin Scoopful benefits the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And speaking on that, I was wondering, if you could tell my readers the whole story with that. You have a very strong conviction towards the Special Olympics. And I was wondering, what is your personal story behind all of that?
Well, it's my mother's story. My mother started Special Olympics in our backyard when I was a little kid and grew it into the largest sports program for the intellectually disabled in the world. So I've seen the power of one woman's idea, the power of one woman's perseverance and her, fighting to make, education accessible to people with intellectual disabilities, playing fields, school opportunities, healthcare opportunities, housing opportunities. It all grew out of her idea that kids needed, kids with intellectual disability should have somewhere to play and compete as well. I think also when I go to a Special Olympics event today, as I did yesterday, it's a way for me to stay in conversation with my mother, who I lost about 8 months ago, and to see that she's alive in all of these families and that her work is alive. So that's a really nice thing for me as well.
That is such a beautiful story. I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, thank you. I think she was always, my biggest booster, my biggest cheerleader, and my biggest fan. And so I think it's a way, for me. And I wrote a book called "What's Wrong with Timmy" about families and kids' abilities. And so that's my mom had a sister who had an intellectual disability. So it's always been a part of my life, and I'm sure it always will be.
Well, you do great work with it, and I'm really amazed. And it's really amazing all that you do because your involvement in the women's conference is also very inspiring. And I was
Uh,
wondering, how did you get involved with that, and how did that come about?
Well, I got involved with it through my work as First Lady. This was the Governor's Conference on Women. It was a very different event when I took it over, and we've grown it into the preeminent forum for women in the world. And we've grown it from a one-day thing to one, a whole day. We added a night thing, then we added a night before, then we added a day before, and now we're adding a day before the day before. And I just started trying to kind of look at it as a one large television show, and what were the stories that were interesting? What kind of information do women need in their life? They need information about finance, about job opportunities, about other women who have overcome, kind of like what you do with your bloggers. You try to find women might have started a business like Lovin' Scoopful. They figured out how to handle their finances, how to deal with their children, how to approach it as a single person, how to get involved in nonprofits, how to see a problem and seek a solution. So I just started programming, and the more ideas I came up with, the more days I needed, the more time I needed, and it's turned into something I have to say I enjoy more than anything, and I really love it, and I will miss it because I have to hand it all back over to whoever the next governor and first lady or first spouse is.
Oh, that's really hard. Well, I won't be at all surprised if you do find some way to continue to be involved in it.
Well, maybe I'll find some way to be involved in some aspects of it. But,
Right.
it's all that you have to also learn kind of when it's your time to step aside and let someone else take the reins.